Okay. See if I can get connected here. Here we are.
Turn your sound down.
I already did. Okay, Deb's here. Hi, Deb. And we'll just give everybody another couple of seconds here to tune in. And then we'll start. Can you hear us okay, Deb? Let us know. And now, be interesting since we changed the time to see how many people join us today. I did.
It is Easter Sunday.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why we're doing it.
It's
a little
Easter
bit early.
Monday in Australia.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Easter Monday in Australia. Don't know if they get today off, if that's a holiday for them or not.
I don't know.
Because it's still a holiday here for the schools, but only for schools, banks, and government institutions. Phyllis is here. Phyllis says, what? No munchies? No, no munchies, no booze, just water. Because we're going over to my sister's for dinner at for about 5 o'clock. That's why we're on an hour earlier too this week, as I mentioned last week, because it's Easter Sunday. So since we've got to drive over there, no booze here, anyways. And yeah, we had a late lunch, a late brekkie, a late brunch, whatever you want to call it, because somebody was still in bed and.
Well, I took a pill last night.
Oh, I took a pill. Yeah, whatever. Take a pill. So we're just waiting here another couple of seconds, see who else may be joining us. A lot of people may be busy today because it is Easter Sunday. And so we'll just see. Or we may be talking to ourselves, but that's okay. It's not quantity, it's quality. That's what you always say when you really mean you want quantity. You just pretend that it's a good thing. Okay, well, the important people are here. Deb and Phyllis. So, let's get going. So, today, as already mentioned, we're going over to my sister's after we're finished the live broadcast. She lives in the town next door.
She lives in the town your mother lives in.
Yeah, she lives in the same town as my mother lives in as well. So, anyways, I was talking about my mother. I called my mother yesterday. We were over there earlier in the week too to see her. We took her a little Easter basket of goodies. Oh, Catherine's here. Hi, Catherine. And of course it was chocolate, and my mother loves her chocolate, and I guess my sister was over yesterday and took my mother a chocolate bunny or something too. So I said to my mother when I was talking to her yesterday, so you got a lot of chocolate, do you, for a while? I said, don't try to eat it all in one day. And she says, well, you know, once I get started, I can't stop. Yeah, I know, Mom, and then you feel sick. So sometimes I feel like I'm talking to a little kid about don't eat so much candy kind of a deal. But whatever, if it makes her happy, that's okay. Jetty's here. Hi,
I have
Jetty.
to admit that if I get something I really like,
Yeah, I
then
know.
I have a hard time stopping.
I'm bad for that too. I mean, when it comes to chocolate, anything chocolate,
Well, with me, it's black licorice.
with me it'd be ice cream. But that's why we never, black licorice, well, you can have
with
it.
me, I can eat a ton
And
of
it's the
that.
salted kind.
Well, no, I'll
salted
even
kind.
eat just plain old salt black licorice. I like the panda, which isn't salted
No.
too. So
Is it made from real pandas?
yeah, I don't know.
Little pieces of panda in your thing?
I don't know what licorice. I think licorice is made from basically flour and water.
Well, I thought it's an actual root.
Well, it is the flavoring is.
Yeah.
But the actual like black licorice, I don't
'Cause
think it's actually.
They used to use it way back as a medicinal thing. So,
But it's a root like ginger.
yeah, I know.
You know, it doesn't come in black licorice form.
Well, I know that. Like,
Okay.
still don't like it. Actually, it's not so much I don't like licorice. I don't mind licorice, not
You
the
don't
Dutch.
like
I don't
black
like salted licorice.
Well, I don't have, my tolerance has gone down a lot in that I don't like it as salted as I used to. And it isn't actually, it's a different kind of salt they use.
Catherine says black licorice is a laxative. Oh, geez, you need that. Maybe that's your problem.
No, something else is probably my
Oh,
problem.
yeah, whatever. Little wire brush. Jetty says cold drop in Dutch. So is that droopy?
Yeah, drop.
Droppy? Droppy? Drop? Drop? Drop?
Drop.
Phyllis-
DROP.
Oh, Phyllis is munching on a dried mango slices right now.
Oh.
I like dried fruits. I never buy them that much.
Yeah, but they do tend to be high in sugar.
Well, I
believe
know
it
it's
or
because they're
not.
more concentrated. I still like them.
Yeah.
Well, see, because there's lots of sugar in them. So, anyways, yeah, Mom's fine. We're going over again this week. Well, we go over once a week, anyways, and I talk to her about every other day on the phone. It's time to take the quilt she's got on her bed, which is not one that I made. It's one my grandmother made by hand years ago. My grandmother's quilts are beautiful, but they are all made by hand. They're not machine quilted. And she's got I think it's a Tree of Paradise one on her bed right now, which is a gorgeous
It's a
quilt.
beautiful quilt.
But I think my mother got a little orange juice on it. So I said to her, well, maybe it's probably time to swap it out with another one. We've got about a couple of more of my grandmother's quilts here that my mother had in the closet. So this morning I took two of them out of the box that I had them boxed up in, and I washed them. They were already clean, but I thought, well, they've been sitting in a box for a while and whatever, so I thought it'd be good to freshen them up. So I did. And I'm going to take these two over to let her decide which one she wants on her bed for the next few months, and the other one I'll take back here and I'll wash it, and I'll hang them up on my quilt rack. I'm not going to put them back in a box, and as time goes by, every so many months, I just swap it out for a different one and rotate them that way. So anyway, she's good, as good as she can be. She gets complaining about her roommate Doris. You know, we've told you about her before. She's 98 years old with dementia, and I guess Doris has been a little, well, I think Doris is Doris. Doris does what Doris does, because people with dementia, you know, that's what they do.
Actually, she doesn't have what I might consider
She's not that
really
severe.
bad dementia.
But to my mother, she's like, of course, weather affects people with dementia. Change in time affects people with dementia.
Well, I think change in time and weather affects everybody.
Yeah.
It just is more severe on somebody that has dementia.
Well, my mother complains about it. But then my mother says, well, Doris is going to fall. My mother's taken Doris sort of under her wing for some reason. Doris is old enough to be my mother's mother. And I've said to my mom, don't worry about Doris. Well, if she falls. And I said, well, Mom, there's not much you can do. If she falls, what are you going to
ring
do?
the bell for the nurse.
Yeah, well, she's already hooked up to stuff that if she falls or whatever, there's an emergency system that goes off, and they're right in there to, you know, check her out, make sure she's okay, and pick her up. My mother can't pick her up. My mother can't keep her from falling. My mother would be on the floor if she even thought about trying for that. But I guess it gives her something to do, to worry about Doris. So anyways, whatever, that's her life. Okay, so that's my mother. Coming up on my vlog this week, I have a new series on work in progress. This is the Photo Folio. What's it called? The Photo Folio Scrapbook. If you've watched the other ones, it's by that same company that comes from India, that Class Act here, my local scrapbooking store, has exclusive rights to, called iCraft. And actually, I quite enjoy their kits. They're kind of fun to do. I've got quite a few of them, and I'm working my way through them. And as I do them, I'm putting them up as a series, showing you how I put them together, and yeah, something interesting to look at. And I've got some new toys to show you tomorrow, and some new projects as well. And so that's what's up tomorrow. Had an eye appointment this week. I can see. Okay, enough about that. Well, I go every year. Actually, usually when I go, she has to put those drops in my eyes. And, you know, they're there to dilate your pupils and stuff so she can get a good look at the back of your eyeball or something like that. But they do take this very elaborate photograph of it too, which costs you like $50. And it's not covered, of course, by our healthcare system.
I doubt anything will be covered anytime soon with our new government.
Yeah, with their new government, he'll probably cut everything out that is covered. But I have an allergic reaction for some reason to her eye drops, which is weird because I never had that before, but about 3 years ago, I think it started. She put in the numbing drops first so the other ones don't sting as much, although I don't find they
How
really
long have
sting.
you been on Crestor?
Oh, for 15 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been on, like, she knows all my medications. In fact, I gave her the blood pressure one the other day when I was over there too. But I get raccoon eyes. Right under my eyes, they all swell up
You get
and hang out like
suitcases.
huge bags under my eyes, and they're there for about 4 or 5 days.
Funny.
And yeah, they don't hurt. They itch a little bit, but they don't hurt or anything, and don't impede my vision or impair my vision. But it's weird. So she said this time, well, She figured she could do it by just looking at the photographs that she's taken and without putting them in. So she did, and everything's fine. See, I have this done all the time too because, in a sense, my mother has glaucoma, so it's hereditary. So that's what they're checking. And also because I have blue eyes and because I had my cataract surgery done, I am more prone to the macular thinning a little bit, and it is thinned a little bit. And she says that's usually what happens after you have cataract or even laser surgery. That's what she's talking about. She just had laser surgery, and she said hers.
I thought you said she
thinned out.
had cataract surgery.
No, she had laser surgery.
Okay, first it was cataract surgery. First it was laser surgery.
No, that's what
then it
you
was
heard.
No,
No.
no, you were talking about the lenses and stuff like that. And
Yeah, she was talking about my eyes.
yeah, okay. Well, I thought you were talking about her eyes.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, well, typical man never listens to him. But anyways, so she said she's got the same problem. She says it's common. They just watch it for this because you don't really want any holes in your macula, and all that kind of stuff, or a detached retina. So yeah, cheery news, but nothing unusual. Phyllis says, in all fairness, if I live in a care home and still have my wits about me, I wouldn't want to share my room with someone with dementia. Usually they're kept in a separate point. Yes, you're quite right, Phyllis. The problem is, this is not a very big nor very modern nursing home my mother's in, and she is in a semi-private, so there's just Phyllis. I do have her on the list, on a waiting list to get a private room, but they only have about 9
Well,
private.
actually, the problem is in this province, there's 10,000 people on the waiting list to
Yeah.
get into a nursing home or a long-term care facility, and basically there aren't enough rooms to go around, so they basically stick everybody in with everybody
Yeah.
else.
Now they do keep the ones that have very severe mental issues, including dementia. They best they can. They have them in a separate area,
Yeah.
but
But Phyllis actually
isn't that bad?
that bad. Like I've seen, my mother used to be on a dementia floor when she was in a long-term care facility, and my mother did have dementia. In fact, my mother had dementia worse than I think Phyllis has.
Yeah, well, I think my father
Or
had
not Phyllis,
dementia.
sorry, Phyllis.
Not Phyllis.
I mean Phyllis.
Oh, slap him, Phyllis.
No, I meant Doris.
Yeah.
Doris is, Doris just, because I mean, I saw people with all kinds of dementia on the ones that my floor my mother was on, and people that were very severe and that had Alzheimer's and stuff. And Doris doesn't have that. If you choose to talk to Doris, she'll answer you back,
Yeah.
give you regular answers to your questions and everything else.
There's nothing wrong with her memory.
And so she has some dementia, but it's not
severe.
severe, and she is her cognitive abilities seem to work okay. So
Like, if you hear it from my mother's point of view, who enjoys complaining about everything, it's like the worst thing, whatever. And to shut up my mother, sometimes I said to her, well, Mom, she's not as bad as Dad was. My father had dementia. My father saw stuff in the air. He'd be trying to pick it out of the air. He saw spiders. He saw chains. He had hallucinations. Actually, he had a lot of dirty hallucinations
yeah, well,
too.
that's what my mother
and
had
stuff.
too.
So, I mean, my dad was in really bad shape with it, whereas
Doris seems to be more confused,
yeah,
and she seems to be like, I think what she seems to do when I've seen her is that it's like she lived on her own for a long time, and it's like she's trying to do things around the house because she's constantly talking to herself and, oh, I gotta
Yeah.
do this and I gotta do that, and
she
stuff like
worries
that.
a lot about things too, and stuff like that. Like, you can hear her worry, and so she talks to herself a little bit. She's also, according to my mother, she says that Doris is hard of hearing. Well, I'm not so sure how hard of hearing she is. I think sometimes she just doesn't.
She does wear hearing aids.
Yeah.
I see that.
But she doesn't pay attention. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But she's not that bad. But it wouldn't matter where my mother was.
And, hey, the person in the room next to her could be totally sane.
And
Because
she'd still be
actually, there
crazy.
was another room she was in with 3 ladies, and the ladies were a little bit more sane.
Yeah.
But then all she did was complain that all they did was talk.
Yeah. And she
So-
complains about the 2 ladies that she's sitting with at a table now. She was sitting with another group. We talked about this one day. And they moved her with a couple of ladies that were a little bit more with it, a lot more with it. But But then all my mother does is bitch about the fact that all they do is gossip about everybody in the place.
Well, and the problem is in
You
a
can't win.
long-term care facility, unless your brain's stimulated some other way,
Yeah.
there's not, that's a topic that people talk about.
You know, it's a source of entertainment.
Yeah.
So we leave it at that. Phyllis says, I want to talk current events, crafting, sewing, etc. Yeah, so?
Yeah, I know that's what you want to do now, but when you're in, if you're able, if you're that well that you can do and talk all that stuff, you should be in a retirement home, not in a nursing home.
No. But I mean, you know, like, yeah, there is a lack of stimulation for them in the home. They try. The staff that there try. They have like a current affairs thing where they talk about that. And there are many of them in there that are with it and go to those things. And I've tried to encourage my mother, because she's with it, to go. But she says, that's not her cup of tea. So, you know, it's her life, whatever she wants to do.
Yeah, I know, and there's also.
Let's get off my mother,
okay,
can
fine.
we? Because it will just
Yeah, right,
reiterating
all right,
it
forget
over
it.
and
Yeah,
over and
yeah.
over again. And I don't want to talk
Yeah,
about
okay,
that, because
okay.
we've got something we do want to talk about today that is a little bit more serious. Phyllis says it's too expensive. Yeah, it is. So, sewing projects. I'm going to talk more about these tomorrow, but this is what I made a bunch of these to take and put on my sister's dinner table for everybody. It's a little bunny with a pocket in it. It's done by the embroidery machine. I spent Friday and yesterday making these things, but I think they're kind of cute. But I'll show these on my blog tomorrow in a little bit more detail. Of course, I thought I'd take my sister over a couple of nice seasonal pot holders, and well, this was a pot don't. It did not work out. It had to have a binding around it, and it was curved at one point in time, like sort of like the bottom part here around the top. I'm not good at curved binding. Haven't mastered that yet. So then I decided to put it in the serger, and oh well, destroyed that. So just thought I'd show you one of my failures. I keep my failures. I hang them on the wall as a reminder of what not to do.
So,
Oh, Mel's here. Hi, Mel.
So you remember what not to do the next time you did nothing, not something right.
Yeah, well, whatever. So, what have you done lately on sewing? Nothing?
Nothing. I'm still doing that.
You have that table runner that you...
Yeah. I'm not too keen on sewing.
Oh, bite me hard.
Okay, go away.
Okay, anyways. Okay, couple of things here before something I was going to talk about. Okay, some of you have told me over the last few weeks you're not always getting notifications of when we're going on air. Well, funny thing was, I've noticed that I'm not getting notifications for some of the ones I subscribe to on a regular basis. Lindsay Welsh, I think is her name, Welsh. She's the Frugal Crafter. She's, you know, big on YouTube. She had a YouTube yesterday where she was talking about people not getting notifications for her stuff. And I really didn't understand exactly what her theory was, but it comes down to that YouTube's screwing around, and if you don't go to a site on a regular basis, or for some reason you end watching that video, what it does is YouTube will next throw you into a different video the next time you go on, and for some reason she felt that the notifications weren't working properly. Her solution for that, or workaround, is if you find that you're not getting notifications as regularly for somebody that you subscribe to on a regular basis, go to their actual YouTube channel and just click on one of their videos, and the notifications for some reason should reactivate. Because something to do with how YouTube's algorithms create recommendations. You know, on the side, you'll get these recommendations for you based on your viewing history. And for some reason, I don't know, it didn't make sense to me.
It didn't make sense, but it does something in the fact that YouTube wants you to be on YouTube as long as possible.
Yeah.
Right? And because then you get to see more ads.
And they make more money from that.
Right. So they're doing something to try and keep your interest, which the subscription thing doesn't make any sense, but
I don't know, but there is something there about it. So what I have to do occasionally for myself is I will go in to one of my subscribed YouTube channels, and I will see if there's been anything new that I haven't got a notification for lately. And it seems that if that is the case, if I click on their most recent video or whatever, or one of them, then the notifications start up again. So I don't know what that is. But anyways, I know some of you were saying you weren't getting notifications when we were going live, and I put one up all the time for that, and you weren't getting notifications when I had done a vlog or some of my latest videos. So if, and if it bothers you and you're concerned, I would hope you're concerned, just go into my actual YouTube channel, click on one of the videos, and then the notification should be working again. I guess, I don't know. YouTube's always changing things. So anyways, I thought I'd let you know about that. And okay, an interesting video I found the other day. There's this guy in England called Dr. Jack or something. He does mostly technical reviews of, high-tech products and stuff like that, but he actually was showing how much money he makes on YouTube. I make money on YouTube. Oh, nowhere near as much as these ones that have millions of subscribers and millions of views per video. But what's interesting is YouTubers don't talk about that too much. And he was showing he has 50,000 subscribers, and he's done 2 videos about this. He did it when he was at 30,000 subscribers, and he talked about how much money he makes in a year based on the number of views and things he's got. Now, he was doing pretty good. I think he's making on average $8,000 to $10,000 a year, which is good pocket money, I'd say, when you've got another source of income, as long as this isn't your only source of income. But he explained that. Well, I thought I'd let you know how much money I make with you guys coming on here, okay? I am so small potatoes, it isn't funny. On the scale of YouTube celebrities, where the biggies are up here, I'm way down here, okay? I just got paid today. They sent me a notification that I'm getting $100.68. That took 4 months to make that much money. And that's usually what I average. Every 4 months, I average 100 Canadian dollars, okay, from the views. Do I do it for the money? No. Why do I monetize? Why not? It's there. $100 is $100. But just to let you know, I'm not making great money on here, and only people that are making the big bucks are people that have,
Thousands of views. Hundreds.
hundreds of thousands of views and subscribers and things. They're making some big money. But some of these people are doing this solely for that because that's their source of income. And of course, they usually spend more time on editing. They know what topics to pick that people really want to watch. I don't do that. I don't edit, you know that, or seldom. And also, the topics are stuff that's interesting to me. And if other people are interested in that too, great, that's nice. I'm not going to spend my life trying to get more viewers and views and trying to figure out what will go viral and whatnot. It's not worth it to me. But I thought it was a very interesting. And if you want, just check him out. Just do a search for Dr. Jack, and he's DR period for doctor. And, it's just was kind of interesting to see how they do all of that. Pracey's here. Hi, Pracey. And Carol's here. And Carol says, don't spend it all in one place. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, big money. Pracey says, let's see, just backing up here. I get notified at least 8 minutes after live streams start. That's weird. I don't know why. I don't know how that works. Because that I don't have any control over. I push the button that says, go live, and then what YouTube does from there, I'm really not sure. Catherine says, even though I'm subscribed with notifications on, I don't follow each and every video. I stop receiving notifications. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. I think because same thing, I get notifications for certain ones, but I have stopped watching them, or only now. I'm becoming more selective because I was finding that I'd get a whole list in my watch later list. That's where I'd put them. And sometimes the list was so long that I couldn't get through them all. So I'm being more selective now about what I watch. I mean, how many more art journaling, page process, or card making ones do I need to watch? Unless it's doing something with a new product or a different technique that I've never seen before, then I will watch it. But if not, I probably won't. Mel says I get notification from upload new. Okay, start. Carol says, is everyone aware that these are two different notifications occasionally and every time? Yeah, you toggle it. If you hit the bell once, watch for the little thing, and it only comes up for a second or two. On the bottom of your screen, a little black bar will come up and say all notifications, or sometimes it'll come up and say occasional notifications or no notifications. It's a toggle. So if it comes up and it says occasional notifications, but you want always to get notifications, just click the bell once again and it should toggle to that. Just watch it for down here in the bottom of the screen, like right here. See if this was the screen, it would be, no, okay, right in about here, okay? Andy's here. Hi, Andy. So anyways, I thought that stuff was kind of interesting about payment, because people want to know, I'm sure, about that. So want to talk a little bit about trip aftermath, which leads us into something else. And this next thing that we're going to talk about, we're a little pissed off about. And I'll explain why we mean that. Okay, aftermath. We're still suffering from jet lag. He more than I. But I've been forcing myself to get up early and get myself back onto my usual routines of, I get up early, I go to bed early. Walter gets up late, goes to bed late.
Yeah, but now it's even worse than it was before, because now I just don't seem tired at night, so I can't seem to fall asleep. And then when I do fall asleep, it's early morning, so I end up sleeping late. So but then that seems to perpetuate from day to day to day. And today I was even later than I normally am. So
Yeah.
now it's like I can't seem to get back to normal time.
But we had this problem the last time we came back from Australia. It took us about 2 weeks. I just find that sometimes I feel a little, I don't know, disoriented is not the word for it, a little weird. Like, I'm home, we've been home a week, it's kind of like, okay, settle in, but just, I'm a little antsy. I've got all these things I should be doing, I want to do, but then I don't want to do them, and then I force myself to do them. Once I get into them, I'm fine. But, there are times when I just want to, kind of pass out on the couch and watch TV. And I'm trying to avoid doing that, because you start into that habit, and you know what you end up like? You end up like my mother. That's the whole thing. So I guess it'll go away eventually. But this is what I want to talk about. There is no gentle way for us to discuss what we're about to discuss right now. And I'm sorry if some of you are going to be offended by it. It is not my intention, our intention, to offend anybody. But I need to say a few things on the outset about being a YouTube creator, okay? 1, why do I create videos? Why do we do Stephen and Walter Live? Why do I do my vlog? Why do I put up my crafts or the Idiot Quilter and things like that? I do it because I like to do it. I am an educator. I'm an educator for life. And it's in my nature to, share information with other people for whatever it's worth. And for those people that are interested in it, if they get something out of it, that's great. That's why I don't care about the money. I'm not doing it to be paid. I had a job. I have a good pension. I don't need to be paid for doing this kind of thing. It's a hobby. All right? Along the way, I have met some wonderful people on here, all of you, that come on live. We enjoy doing the live because we enjoy having these conversations and talking to you, even though some of you are like, we'll never ever meet in our life face to face, and some of you we have met, of course. So the bottom line is, we do it because we enjoy doing it. Second of all, we control the content. We control the vertical. We control the horizontal. Twilight Zone reference there, if you know what I'm talking about. This is our channel. Nobody else's. We do not have to play by anybody's rules. We do not have to make everybody happy. We would like to make this a pleasant experience for all involved. Us, you, everybody else. We're not into hate stuff. We don't mind constructive criticism. The key word there is constructive. That's fine. Everybody has an opinion, okay? But there's a way to voice your opinion in a constructive way, and there's a way to voice your opinion in a destructive way. All right? So, this morning, there were some comments, and I haven't taken them away, that were written for the video we did last week when we were going through our review of Australia. And what I've done is, I've copied them out, because we're going to take these apart one by one. Why am I doing this? I'm pissed. Quite frankly, I'm pissed. I'm pissed with this person. Now, maybe this person, I'm going to give this person the benefit of the doubt. You notice I'm not saying who this person is. If you want to check it out, you can see in the comments from last week's live underneath. But I feel that the comments that were made here, it's important that we address them. Okay? Now, are these comments that are being completely derogatory and cutting us up left and right and unnaving us from the seam to the chops kind of a thing? Shakespeare reference. No, but they're annoying. And it is my right to be annoyed. I'm going to say that. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm making a mountain of a molehill. I don't know. So I'm going to start with the first comment that got this going. Actually, they're in reverse order. Last week, if you remember, when we were going to do the review, or we did the review of our Australia trip, we said right at the very beginning before we started that 1, we like Australian people very much. 2, we like Australia very much. We've been there 3 times. We've always enjoyed it. The things we were going to say were just things that we found a little different from what we are used to. But we also clarified that and said, but they're going to be, because it isn't here. It's there. And all cultures, all societies have their, way of doing things.
Idiosyncrasies.
Their idiosyncrasies. It was not a criticism of Australia or the Australian people. But I like to be honest about my experiences. I'm not going to paint everything with, or look through it everything with rose-colored glasses, because that isn't realistic. It is just our opinion. It's just our observations. But our opinions and our observations are not wrong. They're more wrong than anybody else's impressions of things. But this one individual has taken issue with that. So, let us start. And before we do, a few people are saying, oh, Barbara's here. Hi, Barbara. Let's see. Barb says, they say it takes 1 day per hour difference to get over jet lag. I now use melatonin before I go and for a couple of days after I get back. Okay. Mel says, Walter, have you tried to take melatonin tablets?
No, actually I haven't.
No.
So
I have.
That's a good idea.
I have tried them because my doctor recommended them for me because I was having some trouble sleeping when I saw her before, and I didn't find they had much of an effect on me. Gummy bears laced with marijuana.
Yeah, but I find actually they don't really help me either.
Oh, well, nothing. I know it'll help you. Little rubber mallet right between the eyes. Yeah. And Catherine says, if you don't like something, turn off the video. No one should put someone down, ridicule, etc. There are 1,000 more channels to move on. Yes, exactly right, Catherine. And Deb says, take no notice, they have no idea. You did say several times that wasn't a dig at Australia. They were your perceptions of your travels, which you're entitled to. I enjoy every vlog you do. You're amazing. Thanks, Deb. That's really nice of you. Yeah, and I do take these things with a grain of salt, but I just wanted to kind of go over them. Mainly because I saw a video this week by I think she goes by the Psycho Traveler, and I think I may have reviewed her on my vlog just before we went to Australia. She's really good, but she talked about travel shaming. And people say, well, you didn't really see the real people, or you didn't really see the real country you were in because you did all the tourist things or that. And she says there's no need to travel shame because everybody travels in their own way. Whatever makes you happy. You're on vacation, right? Exactly.
For instance, like my niece travels very differently than I do. We like seeing cities, where she likes seeing nature and getting out to the countryside a lot. So if she were to go to Australia, she would likely go to the outback. Whereas we weren't really that keen on doing that.
No.
So, So that's a different
Yeah.
type of thing.
So to each his own. I mean,
Just because she likes to do that and I don't like to do that, she doesn't like to do the things we do.
yeah, so, but that's fine, but there's no need to travel shame anybody about that. It's whatever grabs you. And when you're traveling to a foreign country, I don't care how long you go over for, unless you're going to actually live there for a while and immerse yourself in the culture because you're actually living it every day, you aren't going to see everything. Okay, simple as that. So anyways, bring this back to the comments from this individual. First comment was, we had mentioned about the problem with Jetstar, the cheap discount airline there that basically canceled our flight at the last minute, and that was why we never got to Darwin. And we talked all about that last week. She responded with this: Jetstar is just like Southwest. Southwest is an American airline. You get what you pay for. If you wanted a secure flight, you should have booked with Virgin or Qantas. You can't complain when you pay the least amount. My answer back to her was this: we wanted to book with Qantas, but no direct flights from Cairns to Darwin. We would have had to go to Adelaide first, then to Darwin, and that was a 20-hour flight as opposed to 2.5 hours. And I put, and yes, we can complain, because we found out afterwards that Jetstar is notoriously bad. They do this on a regular basis.
Of course, us not living in Australia and not
We did not know
experiencing
that.
we had no idea. We knew it was a discount airline, but and I would have rather had another airline. I tried looking at Qantas. I've tried looking at Virgin Australia, and nobody flew direct. Nobody other than Jetstar flew direct from Cairns to Darwin. Everybody had to go through another hub with several hours waiting time. So I wanted the quickest route I could get to Darwin, and that was the one that was available. So
Yeah.
that's why I booked it.
But why has this comment got me a little my dander up? Because she's implying that we're cheap assholes, that we're trying to get a cheap flight. No, we're not.
In fact, our other two flights, we had 3 flights booked. We had a flight from Brisbane to Cairns, and that was on Qantas. And we had a flight from Darwin to Brisbane that was also on Qantas. The only one was the Jetstar flight from Cairns to Darwin, because that was the only option. And I actually booked that flight through Qantas because Jetstar is a subsidiary of
Qantas. Yeah. And the other problem was they couldn't necessarily guarantee us that the flight we would take that would gone from Cairns to Adelaide with a wait over of several hours and then to Darwin was necessarily going to go. We might have got as far as Adelaide on it and they cancel it again. So there we are. I mean, for those not really sure where Adelaide and Cairns are on the map, here's Australia. Cairns is up here, Adelaide's over here, it's right across country. It's the same.
And Darwin's up here.
And Darwin's way up here. It's the same equivalent as
I guess it'd be sort of like going from New York to
LA.
New Orleans, New York to New Orleans, and then New Orleans to Buffalo.
Yeah. Like you like back and forth. So, and in the meantime, we would have been wasting 2 days. We only had 4 in Darwin. Now, we explained all of that in the video. What didn't this person get about that? No, what this person got, it seems to me, is you can't complain when you pay the least amount. I could pay $1 million with a bad airline and still have something like this happen to me. So, yeah, I take offense to that comment. But let's move on, shall we? What are people saying? Carol says, not true. I fly Southwest all the time, much better in all ways.
Well, see, we've never flown Southwest.
We have no idea.
We have no idea what Southwest is like. Also, is this person Australian?
This person is Australian, by the way.
So how do they know about Southwest?
Yeah, how does she know about it? Well, maybe that mystery will be revealed in another comment coming up. Stay tuned. So, she says, you guys have only seen and in capital letters, glimpse of our country. You can't have opinions based on a few visits based on your biased opinions. We have been to Australia 3 times. We have seen more of Australia than some of the people who live in Australia. We have seen Sydney,
We have seen Canberra,
Canberra,
We have
which is the capital.
the capital. We've seen Melbourne. We've seen Adelaide.
We've seen the
Perth,
whole
Barossa
Valley,
Valley.
which is the wine district.
We've seen Perth. We've seen now we've seen Brisbane and
Cairns. And the Sun Coast, the Gold Coast,
Sunshine
or
Coast.
Sunshine Coast, sorry, and that. We have been around, plus we did excursions outside of those parts as well. When we've
I've
had
been to
the rental car.
Tasmania too.
Yeah, we've been to Tasmania as well, which is part of Australia. So we've actually seen quite a bit of Australia. Yes, is there more to see? Uh-huh. We haven't seen Darwin yet. But the
Or
point
Broome,
the point
rather.
here is we didn't just see Brisbane and Cairns. We've got a lot to base our opinion on. And as I said, probably more than this person has seen of her own country, which is not unusual for most people. There are parts of our country we have not seen, and we live here. There's a parts of Ontario, our province that we live in,
That we have not seen.
that we have not seen, and we've lived here all our lives, okay? That's just the nature of the beast. You usually don't see much of your own homeland as much as you see of other lands. So, yes, I am entitled to an opinion. But besides the point, the key word in this one is glimpse and opinions. Yes.
We're
they
not
are
saying
mine.
anything negative.
We're not saying negative.
Anything negative about Australia. We're saying things that we see that are different from where we live, right? But it doesn't mean that it's bad.
No. And again, I go back to when I prefaced our comments last week with what I said. We love Australia, we love the Australian people, and we know that there are going to be things that are different, and we're just pointing those out as points of comparison, but we are not saying one way is better than another way. Obviously, this person didn't hear that or didn't understand what I meant by that, okay? So, she says, right after that comment, you need to go to the not so touristy areas. Hello, this is what I wrote back. But we are tourists, so that is what we want to see. We are tourists. We want to see the Sydney Opera House and the Harbour Bridge.
And the giant sinkhole.
And the giant sinkhole. We want to see the wine district. We want to see the Blue Mountains. We want to see, what was
The
it in
Seven
Brisbane?
Sisters.
Yeah, the Seven Sisters.
Oh.
All the different things that, yes, all the tourists go to. If you came to our country, if you came to our area, we live 2 hours away from Niagara Falls, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Everybody wants to see Niagara Falls when they come. In fact, if you come to Ontario, if you come to Toronto area, then the first thing is people are going to ask you, did you see Niagara Falls? Yeah, and it's very touristy. Yeah, most places you want to see. In fact, I'm not sure what wouldn't be considered touristy.
You go
Alice
see,
Springs?
Yeah, like anything touristy. So
Yeah.
So when you go to the southern part of Australia, you want to see penguins, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to go see the Seven Sisters or whatever, which is down near Melbourne, and you want to see the sinkhole that we saw on the way to Adelaide.
You want to see those things that you can't see at home. That's why you travel. I think at least one of the reasons you travel.
Or you
at
want to
least why
see
we
features
travel.
that are common to another country.
Yeah, I want to see kangaroos. Why? Because we don't have them here. I want to see koalas. Why? Because we don't have them here. You know, like, if that's touristy, then I guess it is. So what? So what's so wrong with being a tourist? I don't want to live in the outback with the indigenous people. We're urban. That's not my idea of a good time. Now, if that's an idea of a good time for other people, like we said, like our niece, then fine, do it. If it makes you happy, you do it. Okay? Don't travel shame us because we were tourists. Because no matter how you slice it, anybody who goes to a place that is not their native land is a tourist in one form or another, right? So what's so bad about that? If you've ever gone to London, England and seen the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben, you're a
The
tourist.
Tower of London.
In the Tower of London. If you go to Paris and you see the Eiffel Tower, you're a tourist. These are things that are must-sees on your list of great places in the world to go to. We've seen the Great Wall of China. Yes, we were tourists. Don't know. Phyllis says, this critic needs to learn don't ever assume. It makes an ass out of you and me. Yes, there's an awful lot of assumption in this, but I'm not done yet with this person. And Andy says, I got criticized for wanting to see Western Nebraska instead of Las Vegas. Better scenery. That was what you wanted to see? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. It's your holiday. It's your vacation.
Actually, now I want to see what's in Western Nebraska.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know there was. Maybe we'll go there too. But you see, this is the thing. We saw the Grand Canyon. Yeah, everybody goes to see the Grand Canyon. But I wanted to see it. So I was a tourist. Okay, so then she says, so let's see, I'm just going on. Okay, I don't understand this comment. You're on the Gold Coast and you're on the Sunshine Coast. I think I said that when we were at the Gold Coast, I did not realize that the Gold Coast, we just froze. Ah, shoot. It figures. So, we're frozen, people. Can you still hear us? Because I'm just going to carry on. It's going to be like a podcast. Just let me know. Can you hear us still?
I don't know, I think oh, there we go.
Yeah, Catherine says we can hear you. Okay. I don't know why it froze up today, but it has. Maybe it'll come back, but anyways, you've got a lovely shot of us both there. So anyways, I'm going to carry on here. So sorry that it's frozen. Not my fault. Don't know what to do about it. Okay, so when I made the comment about the Gold Coast, I didn't realize that the city that everybody goes to is called Gold Coast. So I was on the Gold Coast, or are we in the Gold Coast? So what's this? We're fighting over prepositions, on and in, on the Gold Coast. And this is all written in capitals. It goes, you're, in regular lowercase, on the Gold Coast, like she's yelling at me, and you're on the Sunshine Coast. There is no need to yell. And it doesn't clarify anything for me at all. So that was just a comment.
Unless you're right, that the Gold Coast is part of an area, and we were in Broad Beach within the Gold Coast.
Maybe, but you know what? Does it matter? It's semantics. It's not a big thing. So why is she taking issue with this kind of a deal?
We were I know if you wanted to correct us on something, then explain the correction rather than setting everything up in capitals.
Then she goes on and says, sorry, but we've traveled throughout the States and Canada, and you just need to go with the flow. We're all different. You need to understand that. And that's a comment must have come up when we were, saying how things were different or whatever like that. Yeah, we get it. But she says,
we go to the United States too, and it's different.
And it's different for Canada. And parts of Canada are different from other parts of Canada. Yeah. But the point here is this. She says, you need to understand that. We do understand that. I don't need a lesson from her. She's also implying that we haven't done much traveling. She's been throughout the States and Canada. One, she didn't specify where. She's been to every state of the 50 states.
And when she's been to
Canada,
she's been to
every province?
Been to BC and Alberta and Saskatchewan and Ontario?
She doesn't clarify that.
Clarify that. In fact, most of the people that we saw in Australia, when they said they'd been to Canada, they'd been to British Columbia.
Yeah,
which
it's not all of Canada.
No.
I mean, it's a beautiful part of Canada. But
it's just like if you go to Adelaide, has much very different scenery in Australia than Cairns has.
Yeah, totally different. Or Perth.
Yeah.
Or even Sydney. I mean, each place is a little different, makes them unique. That's why you go to see them, because they are different. But she's implying here that we're novice travelers. We're not novice travelers.
We've been all over the place.
We've been everywhere. Well,
I can tell
no,
it's
not
usually-
everywhere.
No, not everywhere. We haven't been to South Africa. We haven't been to India, and we haven't been to Japan.
No.
I mean, there's probably
been
other places.
all through Europe. We've been through all the Scandinavian countries. We've even been
To
not
Russia.
even to Russia, not extensively, but we've been to Russia. We have been to Egypt. We have been to Australia, New Zealand. We have been through the States. We've been through our own country. We've never been to South America. We've never really been any further than Egypt in Africa with it, so others to explore. We haven't been to India or Japan, but we've been to China. We have done a lot of traveling around the world, a lot more than some people do. But that's to imply that we're some kind of novices about traveling. And I think that reflects back on the comment that we just go to touristy things. Yeah, we do.
That's what we do every time we go somewhere.
And we like it. Yeah, we look for it on purpose, you know. Catherine says, is she new to your channel? Sounds like it. Otherwise, she would have known different. Yeah, I think she is new. I haven't said what she calls herself on here. Sure, I'm going to, because you're going to find out anyways, because I'm sure you're going to go and look at the comments from last week. She goes by Oz Gran. So, glad you can't see my face right now, because I am making a really wicked look on it. Oz Gran. That says to me she's an older lady, and maybe she's got some problems. Maybe she's just a little bitchy. Kind of like my mother, likes to complain. I don't know. There, I said it, shoot me. Whatever. But then she goes on. When we had mentioned about how it was different in Australia for eating, how, you know, you order your food most of the time at the counter, they give you a number and they serve it to you in that kind of way. And we had mentioned the fact that we found that the seasoning of food was a little different to what we're used to. It was a little bland, okay? Not to make a pun on my name, but it was. But that's okay. I mean,
I'd rather it be that way than be so spicy I can't eat
yeah.
it. So.
Well, everybody has their own degree of how much seasoning they want. And I think I coupled that with the fact we were watching that television show, that cooking show called My Kitchen Rules, MKR, where they kept talking about everything had to be well seasoned and melt in your mouth. And we were making fun of that because it's a drinking game. Every time they said that, you should take a shot and you'd be drunk before the show was over with it. And I think I tied it in with that. Well, she says, when you get takeaway, you don't get well-seasoned food. She did put laugh out loud after that. So I guess she was trying to be funny there. Yeah, that's fine. Takeaway food, or as we call it here, takeout. Yeah. You don't. That's true. These are not fine dining restaurants we were eating in. They were middle of the road kind of places. They weren't fast food in places, but they weren't like, let's get dressed up in a suit and a tie and go out to eat kind of places either. So I get that. Andy says, I hope she's watching today. Deb says, she clearly has no idea what you guys are genuine and mean no offense. You have your opinions, and I, for one, think all your reviews are very interesting and very well done. Well, that's the point of when we're doing the reviews. We're not trying to offend anybody by it. We're just honestly talking about what we experienced. If, like I said earlier, if all we said were positive stuff through all of this, would you really believe us? Oh, this was fabulous. And you know, I've met people like that travel and everything was absolutely wonderful and perfect. Maybe it was in their opinion, but I don't trust people's reviews about places I've never been to before that say nothing but absolutely glowing reviews of it, because I don't want to be let down when I go.
I mean, we've even talked to people where they say, they have glowing reviews of something. Like, for instance, a play we saw a long time ago, they had glowing reviews of this play because it was a popular play and all this other stuff. And then we went to it and we later said, well, that was a lousy play.
Yeah.
And they said, I'm not the only one that thought that.
See, I think some people are afraid to express their genuine feelings about a place. And this doesn't mean that you have to be hypercritical and be slanderous and cut things down, but you can be honest about your opinion about something. And I would respect people that are honest about their opinion of places where they've been to, they've traveled to, or where they've eaten, because I believe them.
They could, like, I mean, some people might say something like, it was okay, but it wasn't really for me. And then go on to explain why it wasn't really for them. So,
So, I mean, and that's fine with it. Catherine says she's an Aussie and came upon your channel based on the title, and feeling she's a native, she has a right to her comments. And she's put in brackets, not trying to defend her. Yes, and I get that. And in fact, I am sure that I would probably do the same thing if the roles were reversed. But the one thing that I wouldn't do is I would have couched my comments in something that was a little bit more sensitive in language and in tone. I wouldn't want to put the person who is talking about their experience on the defensive, which is exactly what she has done with us on here. She's making us feel bad because we're genuinely sharing our experiences. And I thought we were sharing them in a fairly positive manner. Deb says, if you don't get negatives of something, you're not getting a true perception of it, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Nothing is perfect. You know, I could say I walked into a restaurant, I tried the steak. The steak was good, although I did order it medium rare. It came a little bit better done than that, and so that kind of wasn't exactly the way I liked it. But generally speaking, it was pretty good. Just be careful the way you ordered. If I go another time, I would know to say I want it rare instead of medium rare, and it would probably come medium rare. Whatever.
Actually, one positive thing about any of the food we had in Australia, other than the fact it wasn't overly seasoned, was the fact that it was always very good.
Yeah.
We go to restaurants here sometimes that are chain restaurants, and the food is not great. You pay a lot for stuff that's not great.
Yeah. So,
whereas there, consistently, most of the food that we had
was good quality,
was
and tasty,
good or excellent quality.
Yeah. It was just served in a little bit different way than we're used to, but again, no problem. That wasn't a problem. It's just something different from the way we do things. And I'm sure if Aussies come over here, they probably take a little time to get adjusted to the way we serve food here. Big deal. Is it going to change the price of rice in China? No. But she seems to take issue with that. And then she says, yeah, get what you get, and yeah, you get what you get, and you don't get upset. I'm not sure what that comment's supposed to mean. I wasn't upset. Okay.
But actually, that comment, I don't know what she means.
No. Well, it must have been generated by this other thing. Some of these comments she writes on here, I'm not sure exactly what she's referring to in the video because she doesn't reference it back. But you get what you get and don't get upset. So I guess it's the same. I'm interpreting that as
after the takeaway.
Oh, comment. Maybe.
So, you get what you get.
But we were never upset. I mean, I'm sorry if she got the impression we were upset. We were not upset. We acclimatized very quickly. In fact, this time as being our third trip, we knew exactly
what to expect.
And like Walter already said, we didn't have any bad food experiences. But that doesn't mean that it was 100% absolutely wonderful. Like, there were some things that were not horrible, didn't stop us from eating it, but I don't know. So in here, this maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's like, shut up and put up. I don't have to shut up and put up. I'm sorry. I don't have to do that. So, it's just, all right, and then here I think she's trying to be funny. I get it. We don't have good TV. I'm trying to think what we talked about through television.
Well, actually, we don't have great TV.
We don't either. I mean, it is what it is. Wherever you go in the world, the television is always very different. It also depends on what kind of connection.
Actually, I thought they had better selection than most places have.
Well, I thought they had better selection than hotels. In hotels in the States.
Like, I don't know, we get a bad view of what the television's like because we only see it in hotels. And so we don't see all the different things. I know that we were able to hook up to our Netflix account, and there were a few specific Australian things on the Netflix account that we don't usually
that
get.
we don't get. But that wasn't, it wasn't really, and I'm sorry if she thought this was a serious criticism of the television system, entertainment system in Australia, which who cares? Really, is that going to be a biggie? Will that change people's minds about going to
I
Australia?
mean, I hate going to Italy and only seeing Italian TV.
Yeah, because we don't speak Italian, and sometimes you wonder what it is because there always seems to be a lot of yelling in them. Look soap opera, but when we go to the States, in the hotels we stay in, and this has to do with the provider the hotel has bought into, it's wall to wall news. Everything is a news program. CNN, NSBC, blah blah blah. It's all about guess who right now, anyways. But it's always about politics and stuff like that, which is kind of boring. And so we were probably had limited stations to watch too.
I think we had limited stations, and then we had some places gave us something called Foxtel, which I'm not 100% sure what it is. It was extended stations that had some movies on it and stuff. I don't know if it's put out by Fox Entertainment. I'm not sure. That's something that's foreign to us. So,
but anyways, that's sort of the end of her comments there. They, right or wrong, they rubbed me the wrong way. They rubbed me the wrong way because it made me feel that I had not explained myself clearly enough to let people know that we were not being negative about our experience in Australia. Far from it. We had a good time.
actually, I think Australia. I wish Australia was closer.
Yeah,
I
because we
go
go
there
more
an awful
often.
lot more often.
Yeah. And we talked about the things we liked about it too. But as I said, we were giving our honest opinions about things. Hi, Cindy. Happy Easter to you too. So I don't know what's in this lady's claw. I did think, my first gut reaction when I started reading these this morning was to block her and to delete her comments. But then I thought, no. Other people should see these. She's entitled to her opinion as much as I'm entitled to my opinion, or we're entitled to our opinions, as anybody's entitled to her opinions. So I'm not going to do that. Now, I even reached out to her, and because I saw that she has a YouTube channel. And she has a fair number of subscribers. She has more than I do. And it's art journaling, seems to be. And I watched a few of her videos. So I did send to her if she'd like to be a person of interest on my vlog. And the answer I got to that was, well, it was kind of curt. Maybe I took her off guard by that. Maybe she wants a fight. She's not going to get a fight. I'm done with her right now. I'm done with these comments. But I'm leaving them there. Maybe the tone, when you write things, word choice is very important. Syntax is very important. Why would I say that? I was an English teacher. Words are important to me. And when you write something without the context of having the person there beside you to explain further, to discuss it, I could be misinterpreting some of these things she has said, or I'm overreading into them. I mean, I'm not going to let them get my goat, but it's just the timing of it all. I saw that video about travel shaming. Lately on YouTube, there has been commentaries about the increase in hate comments. Facebook is getting this a lot. I was watching Mr. Domestic on YouTube yesterday. He had been doing a live, and he had these what we call trolls that came into the conversation with him, and we couldn't see the conversation because it wasn't showing up on the screen, plus we weren't watching it live. It was the recorded version afterwards. They were saying some things to him, whoever came up there, that got him really upset. In fact, to the point where he had to stop his broadcast because, as he put it, what the haters were doing. He was trying to laugh it off. He was trying not to let it affect him, but it was affecting him. And I understand that. These affected me. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It is how it made me feel. And I know that I shouldn't worry about one troll. But you know, 100 people can say nice things to you, and it takes only one to say something negative, and that's the one you focus on. And although you know you shouldn't, we all do. So, anyways, that's my little rant about this individual on here. I would be more than happy if she wants to write a rebuttal to what we have said today. Maybe we've misinterpreted her. And if so, I will be the first to turn around and say, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that. But I have a feeling this might be just how she communicates. So, anyways, I thought I'd share that with everybody because I just felt I needed to. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a safe environment for that. Many of you, although we haven't met you in person, we consider you kind of friends because we've been talking to you for so long. So that's why I felt that comfortable enough to discuss this with you. So anyways, let's leave the troll and move on. And what's next? Well, we can talk about our political system for a second. Our premier, our mini Trump, Doug Ford, he's going after the teachers again. And he thinks he's going to win. Well, he's in for a rude awakening. Teachers' unions are the strongest, pretty much the strongest unions in our province, if not in Canada. And he thinks he's going to increase class sizes, fire 10,000 teachers, and all's going to be well in the education system. Not going to happen, and it's not going to make a better education system. No way. But I guess the only way he's going to learn, and I don't think he can learn anything because he just is stupid.
He also did
The parents have to lash out at him.
also did things to Toronto Health System too by slashing their budget and everything too.
Yeah. Deb says you guys do a great job. Thanks, Deb. And Phyllis says it's a shame, but when you put yourself out there on social media, there will always be the spoilers. Not worth the bother. You're exactly right, Phyllis. And we'll just leave it at that. So yeah, so our asshole premier is
They're doing
just
all kinds of cuts to social programs.
to our health system, to our education system, to our welfare system, to everything. And he's especially attacking Toronto, which is the capital of Ontario, and it is definitely vindictive because his brother, Rob Ford, you've probably heard of him. Well, those of you that are close to the border, United States and Ontario would know who I mean. Maybe others of you are not sure who that is. He was.
He was the
passed
mayor
away.
of Ontario, mayor of Toronto a few years ago, and was made a fool.
He
of
was an
himself.
idiot. He was an idiot as well. And he wanted to do all kinds of things to Toronto, and basically he got voted down by the city council. And he was like a little kid. I'm going to get you, buggers.
And taking temper tantrums.
Yeah, and now his brother Doug, now that he's in the top job position in Ontario, he's going after Toronto, and it's just vindictive. And what's even more stupid are the people in his party, and he has some very intelligent people in the party. Like one of them, she's the deputy prime minister or premier, and she's also the minister of health. And I know this lady. I went to school with her two sisters, who are both great educators, and she is a lawyer, a very intelligent woman. She should have been the leader of that party. She ran for it, and they knocked her out because she was a woman, because they're a sexist party. They're very much like the Republicans in the United States, the Conservative Party here. And now she's doing all kinds of things in the name of the premier, which I would like to think that she knows this is not a good thing. But then again, I don't respect her anymore if she can't stand up for what she believes is right. After all, she is an elected person. She stands for the people that have put her in there. She should be supporting their interests. She's not. She's supporting her own interests. So in saying that, anybody who supports this guy in that party are all doing it to keep their job and to keep their big benefits package and the big paychecks that come through, and they could care very little about the average guy or
Which
girl.
is probably true about any politician.
Yeah, it's typical. But anyway, so yeah, we don't worry about the President of the United States anymore. We have our own asshole to worry about now in here. So, what's eating Walter?
I don't know. I thought of something yesterday, but now I should write these things down.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe memory loss is eating you?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So what are we watching? On Netflix, OA started up again, the second season. Very strange program. Hard to explain what it's about. It's extremely hard to explain. But if you want to see something that's actually intriguing, but a little off the wall and something a little different, watch OA. It's the letters OA. We haven't gone to a show in forever.
No. Well, there isn't anything on that.
Although I did learn, okay, this is going to sound sexist. You know, they got that Captain Marvel movie. Okay, well, I could kind of wait for it. I wouldn't mind going to the show to see it, but I could wait for it to come on, you know, in the smaller format too. But a friend of mine who is a big comic book buff, he's telling me that Captain Marvel, I had said, well, the one thing, and this is going to sound sexist, the one thing I didn't like, why I wasn't that excited about seeing the movie, was because they had changed the main character, Captain Marvel, to a woman. And I just didn't know how that would work. And yes, and that sounds sexist. But I mean, you know, some things are traditional, like Captain America is a man.
Superman.
And Superman is a Superman, although there's Supergirl. Actually, that's kind of sexist, though. They don't call her Superwoman, they call her Supergirl. But Superman is not Superboy, he's Superman. Yeah, never thought of that until just now. That's interesting. Sexist. However, he told me that no, in the Marvel comic universe, Captain Marvel has always been a woman. I did not know that because I never read Marvel comics. I never really read comics, period, as a kid much. So I didn't know that. So that gives me a whole different perspective. I thought they were just probably substituting a woman in because it's a thing to do, you know, with the all Me Too generation and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, now I'm more interested in seeing it because I didn't realize that they're staying true to the original. Anyways, we haven't seen any other movies. I know some of you because I think it might have been, it was either Jody
Comments.
or, okay, well, just before, okay, Phyllis says, no, welcome to our world, but it won't last. The natives are getting restless and the government, all of them, are beginning to catch on. Yep. And Tracy says the Mandela effect. Oh, I never thought of that. The Mandela effect. Maybe Captain Marvel was a man. Maybe I am remembering it correctly, and maybe the Mandela effect. Woo! Twilight Zone. I think it was Jody. She's not on here today, Miss Purple Potato. I think she's the one that first put us on to Curiosity Inc., the guy who bought, it says, The Hoarder's House, and he's been doing a whole series about this woman, he's Canadian, and I think I've mentioned him before as well. I really love watching his videos about what he's been doing to this house that belonged to this lady who just recently passed away at 103. If you haven't seen it, look for Curiosity Inc. on YouTube and look for the Potter House series because it's really quite good. But he is one clever guy. He's an antiques sort of dealer, and he's really, I got to give him credit. This man is smart when it comes to running a business, and he seems to be a really nice person. Somebody who's like, he's giving back to the family 50% of whatever he makes from the selling of the things he's found in this house, and he's found a lot of stuff because she was a potter and she did have museum quality pieces and stuff like that. And I think that's really nice of him. Yeah, he's got to make a living too, but I don't know, he just does it in such a way that I think I find him very intriguing. So I enjoy watching his videos. And also he's Canadian, which is a plus. We did a new recipe last night. Walter made General Tso chicken. And it was sort of pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, it was a little bit vinegary.
It was a little bit, maybe too much vinegary, a little sour, but it was good. It was something different. I don't know why I suddenly had a hankering for this. I think again it was my friend who was over the other night who wanted to talked about the comic books. He had made some, and for some reason I kept thinking, I wouldn't mind trying some of that. So I found the recipe. Walter made it out of it all. I was actually going to make it, but he decided he was going to do it. Mel says Curiosity Inc. is a great channel, especially if you're interested in antiques. I've been watching it for ages, and his Potter's House series has been great. Yeah, if you've not seen this, people go to it. Check for it.
And their videos are very good quality and everything
Yeah.
else that he does. And
Well, I guess in
very
another
interesting.
life he did this for a living too. Like he did professional filming, video kind of stuff too as well. So he knows what he's doing with that. But they are good. They're well worth the watch.
They're interesting. They're not
Yeah.
boring to watch or anything.
No, he's got a lot of followers. He puts up one of those, and within a day, he's got something like 500,000 people have
Yeah,
seen.
so he's making money.
He's making money on that one, which is fine. Bully for him. You know, that's great with it. I don't hold it against anybody who's making money from YouTube. Because I mean, he's very genuine. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, already told you we're off in a few minutes once we finish here. Off to my sister's for Easter dinner. And yeah, that'll be fine. And next week we've got a couple of good friends that we only see usually about twice a year. They just live in Toronto. But we only get together maybe twice a year. One time at their place for a weekend and another time at our place for the weekend. And it's our turn this time and they're coming down. It's supposed to be this weekend actually, but then we realized, oh wait, this is Easter weekend. Maybe not so good. So we've put it to next weekend. And we've known these guys for as long as we've known each other. Holy shit.
Mm.
Over 35 years. Hard to believe that. So that'll be nice. And we both got doctor's appointments, so we got to go see our doctor for her to tell us that you need to lose weight, you got to stop eating salt, you got to get more exercise, and your blood pressure's high. So, nothing new there. She's very thorough. Mel says, and he and his wife are great examples how to make business with heart. Yep, they are. So anyways, that's all we've got coming up next week. Anything else?
No.
Can't think of anything else. Sorry that we're frozen. Not really frozen in the most attractive positions either. But anyways, I hope this is a temporary problem. I thought we had that all worked
Fixed.
out. But YouTube has been doing it. It was freezing up on Curiosity Inc. when he was doing
He was having
his
problems
life.
with
He
it.
was having problems too. So I don't know what it is. YouTube screwing around again, or who knows? We never know, and we never will. Okay, so that's everything for us today. Hope I didn't bore you too much with my rant about the troll. But anyways, check my blog tomorrow. Some new stuff on there to share with you. Deb says, have a lovely day with your sister. See you next week. Yes, we'll see you all next week. Have a great what's left of the Easter weekend. If you're doing things with your family, I hope it's a good time or whatever you're doing. And we'll see you all next week, 4 p.m. regular time now, then. Bye-bye. Say goodbye, Walter.
Bye-bye.